I need some weight loss advice. This one Reddit user asks, it is great to see you back for another episode of Reddit Q&As where I answer the common questions that are trending right now, give you some personal opinions, some professional context, maybe do's and don'ts, and hopefully you find some value here that you might relate to yourself. Instead of spending time writing out comments, and I'll find some of the questions that are trending in the last 24 hours that I think are interesting. I'll dissect them, give you some opinions, and hopefully you find something useful from here and you can relate to it and you enjoy the content. If you enjoy the video, you can leave a like. Don't forget to check the links underneath this video. And let's dive into today's episode. Weight loss advice. I need some weight loss advice, this user asks. Context is always important. I like to pick questions that have a bit of context because otherwise I have no idea where you are at. So, hi everyone, I'm looking to lose some weight and I would appreciate your thoughts. My height is 6'5", so pretty tall, and I'm currently weighing around 195 to 200 pounds, which is 80 kilograms, which is 90 kilograms for the rest of us of the world. I don't have any health issues, so my goal is to look fit, not necessarily ripped, but comfortable in my own skin and not ashamed of my own appearance. Now, you see, the thing is, my first thing is like you're 6'5" and you're 200 pounds. That's like a very appropriate weight. I'm 6 foot and I'm 185 pounds. I'm trying to get to 200 pounds, which I'll bulk and I'll get fat, but like, not necessarily like I'm going to gain weight and I might look fatter because you're taller, right? So it's a healthy weight, I would say. My main challenge is busy scheduling, working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, finding the time to work out and stuff. I do go after dinner walks sometimes, but at social gatherings, I often feel like everyone around me looks fitter, and that makes me self-conscious. Okay? I get that many people say that I don't compare myself to others or worry about what they think. I understand that, but when I see others in better shape, even if similar clothes, pulling off styles I never could. You know, it's funny because when you start lifting, the day you start lifting is the day you never really look good in a shirt. When you're bulking and a bit fatter, you fill out a shirt better than when you're actually jacked because the shirts make you look like you don't lift. It can leave me a little insecure and underwhelmed. That's fair. I've been thinking about trying weight loss medications. Are they safe these days? I come across some opinions on AI-defined medications. After some research, I found some new names, but I'm not sure if I should mention them here. I really appreciate your suggestions. People around me are quite scared of weight loss meds, so I'd love to hear your honest advice. Thank you so much. Okay, so there's a bit more context in the comments here, which I think is important, and I wanted to address that and kind of relate to the video, because normally I'll just get to the question and kind of give my opinion. But he says that he's exhausted. So in the comments, one of the questions he says is exhausted, he just wants to sleep, and struggles to staying active. He plays a bit of pickleball. His diet, he's asking if his diet adjusting could be helped. And he doesn't have a gym, so anything you can do at the work, he's asking. So, okay, my friend, I'm going to give you some advice and professional opinions and some kind of context to go with this. Like I said, for someone who's 6'5" and 200 pounds, I feel like you are in a very healthy weight and height. So your internal image of how you look and feel is, of course, skewed, and you'd like to look fitter and stronger. The first thing to address, of course, is the fact that you do not have the time. It's not necessarily maybe you don't have the time, it's priorities. Now, if you're working 10 hours a day and you're exhausted and mentally, physically exhausted, and that's the only thing you can think about is hitting the bed, then we need to look at your nutrition to begin with. You mentioned nothing about calories and nutrition. You mentioned weight loss medication, but maybe your nutrition is really poor. Maybe you're eating junk food. Maybe you're crashing through the day, and that's why you're exhausted. If your nutrition was timed better, so carbs, so you didn't crash as much, maybe your blood sugar levels, maybe some caffeine to pick you up a little bit, that's the first thing I would look into. Second of all is building a routine. If you're working 10 hours a day, you have time to work out either for work or after work. You'll have to sacrifice something. I'm not saying that this is like everyone has the same hours in the day. This is me saying you will have to sacrifice something. And that's probably sleep, probably social events, or your own time, which is the gym. The gym should become your own time, essentially. If you've got 10 hours of work, you still have 14 hours of the day. You want to get about 7 to 8 hours of good optimal sleep, which leaves you around 4 to 5 hours a day, which means commuting, traveling to work, and doing miscellaneous stuff through the day. Makes your days very tight and very packed and very boring. I get that. But if that's what you have to do to build a routine, then that's fine. And the routine will be hard in the beginning. But for example, if you go to bed at 10 p.m. and you start work at 8 a.m., go to bed an hour earlier, get up an hour earlier, and just go to the gym then 2 or 3 times a week. That's all you need. Not that many days. 6 days a week. You have 1 day off. Great. Use that day for like a heavier intensity strength training session where it's a bit slower. And then 2 of the other sessions a day are 45 minutes before work or after work. If you can, again, find the energy and build a routine with nutrition and timing, then do the training after. 45 minutes and go right home. I'm sure that between your house and your work on the commute, that there is a gym that you can drive to. It might not be convenient, it might not be ideal, but you can work with it. Before you consider weight loss medications at 6'5", 200 pounds, before you could look at yourself and you feel like I'm insecure and I'm uncomfortable in my own skin, start building your body, build your self-esteem, and then that will translate into so many things of your life, areas of your life. Your confidence, your self-esteem, your clothes. You'll start noticing how they feel better and feel more comfortable. I went on a tangent there, but it's something that I'm kind of passionate about. And I think people struggle to see with routines. That's why coaching, that's what I do, I guess, for a living. That's why I exist as a job, because I just tell people, I teach them a system. I give them perspective that they may have never seen before. And I take them out of that tunnel vision and I say, here, there are 5 other ways you can do this. That's why my clients get results, is why they stick to it. So that's my advice for somebody who says if they want to lose some weight and they didn't have time and they were 6'5" tall. All right, moving on to question number 2. I despise weights and only do cardio. Am I hurting myself? That's a very, very good question. It's a very interesting question. This will bring up a very open discussion, I feel like. So we have context, which is really good. I go to the gym 4 times a week and I do 35 minutes of treadmill. I run for 2 minutes, I jog for 2, and I also do 20 minutes of indoor. Fair enough. Very specific. Good. I tried weights for a month and I despised it. Capital despised it. I hate the workouts. I'm bad at doing them and I don't feel like exercising. When I'm running, I feel like I'm actually doing something, and seeing the wheels on my fitness watch complete afterwards is an explosion of serotonin. Something I never achieved in any of my muscle workouts. Okay, good points. We're going to address those points. I don't want to get toned. I'm happy with my body and I just want to stay healthy. I'm 22, I'm 120 pounds, and I'm 5'2" in height. Metrics, we love metrics. I work from home, so I'm sitting down most of the day. Am I doing more harm than good with my current workout? And am I losing muscle and gaining nothing from this? Very, very interesting question and very good context, very appropriate context. Good. We don't have anything about nutrition, but that's fine. It wasn't a question to do with nutrition. Okay, so the first things we're going to address. You hate weight training because you've tried it for a month. You can work on it because you can't close your exercise rings. So my assumption is that your resistance training is not hard enough. And that doesn't mean do 20 exercises back to back in a circuit to get your heart rate up. It means that the level of training you're doing is not significant enough to challenge your body. It's not enough stimulus, which is okay. It's not a problem. And also, I assume based on the way you're wording working out that you've tried it for a month that you're still a beginner. So you've not tried a program, you've not had any structural feedback to give you advice on how to do that. So that's the second thing I would look into. Thirdly, you talk about this ring being completed on your Apple Watch and you get a lot of serotonin, which is the best motivation for the gym. The endorphins, the serotonin we get, the happy drug after training is amazing. And that's why you feel like you've done something after training, especially after cardio, because you're sweating, you're out of breath, and your endorphins are all over the place and you're wild, which is great. It's a great feeling to have. I understand that. I love a good mental health walk and run sometimes. I do those once or twice a week now, especially when it's sunny in spring. Now you're 22, you're pretty young, you're 120 pounds and you're 5'2", so you're pretty small. Now you're working from home and you're sitting on your butt all day. So this is the first concern, the first red flag. Sitting all day and being inactive without resistance training is going to cause atrophy. It's the decay, it's the muscle disappear. You use it or you lose it, right? Your glutes will disappear, which will cause your lower back to hurt, which will cause you to maybe be more fragile later on in life. So that's an issue to begin with. So you're asking, am I losing muscle and gaining nothing from this? You are technically losing muscle. Resistance training on a bike or treadmill is not really resistance training. It's more cardiovascular. Sure, your skeletal system, your joints and the ligaments are getting a bit of adaptation and some strength training, better than nothing, which is great. But your muscle is not getting any stimulation. There's no signals, so you're not actually going to change your body. Now, you said you're happy with your body, which is really good. I'm very happy for you. And as soon as you start lifting, you get this thing called body dysmorphia, which means you'll never be happy with your body. So welcome to the club. I'd still recommend finding some form of resistance training that you enjoy. Doesn't have to be the gym. It could be bouldering. It could be resistance classes. It could be bodyweight calisthenics training. I'm not always going to say, hey, do the gym 3 times a week and you'll be fine. I've got plenty of people that do 2-3 times a week in the gym, and then they do maybe a big hike on the mountains to the cabin in the weekend, which is pretty challenging. Basically, what I'm saying is find some form of way to challenge and cause resistance on your body in order for it to progress, adapt, and keep you healthy. And the last one for the day, I do around 3 questions, keep these videos kind of short, to the point, and informative. So on Fitness 40 Plus, I like that Reddit. I like to see what people that are a bit older than me kind of experience to talk about fitness. Someone's asked, has anyone noticed that once you hit the 40-year-old mark, your body starts showing cracks physically? interesting point. And we have some context here, which is good. 40. And then I was reading in my glasses that I couldn't handle a single drink without feeling the effects of the following day. Feeling down, not that that's a bad thing. I drink once a month, so I'm not going to notice it any less, but got me thinking about being 40 and wondering if you are similar. I can still run. In fact, my physical activity is awesome, though I have a few small handles that are being stubborn, but I've always had that. Okay, that was a bit hard to read. I think there were some typos in there. But this opens a topic for discussion when you're getting 40 and physically your body changing and if you're not able to keep up with the shape. So you say you're running a lot, it's really good, you're in happy physical shape. However, you say you have a few stubborn handles that you want that are there, that you've always had them. And I think this brings out an important part, that it's never too late to begin fitness and strength training, especially 30, 40, 50 and so on. Resistance training is incredibly important. Now I'm just going to dive into this love handles that you talk about and that they're stubborn. I think it's just down to your nutrition and maybe that you're not strength training and resistance training. I think the question you're talking about specifically is that you were drinking and it hit you a lot harder, and then recovery was harder, and that's also a very, very big thing. Essentially, if you're not using your body, you're losing it, right? So as we get older, we have to challenge the body in different ways. Running is a great way in your 40s, as well as a bit of mild resistance training. Reading the comments in this thread are very interesting. So someone said, things have changed at 44, suddenly starting getting harder. Injuries took a lot longer to heal, which is a very big one. Now that I'm 55 and fit again, I get so much easier if I was only 44. Easier if I was only 44 and trying to get fit. That's what someone says here, which is very interesting. So they're older and now they're going back to the younger time saying, God, I wish I've started this earlier. If it's one thing the older generation can say to the younger generation is start earlier. Start resistance training earlier. Resistance training is so important for injuries. And I talk about this all the time. Like I say, I have a dog. I walk him in winter, in the rain, in the snow. On the ice, I slip a lot. He pulls, he might want to drag me sometimes. And if I fall on my butt and I injure myself, I recover so much quicker because my ligaments are strength trained and they're going to bounce back a lot faster. If you were 50 and you've never strength trained and your dog pulls you and you fall on the ice, you're going to probably break an ankle, and that's going to take you a couple of years of rehab. But because resistance training helps you strengthen the joints, the ligaments, the muscle tissue, all those areas, it's so much easier to recover from. And that is a wrap for today's episode. Again, as usual, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.